Miscellaneous minds, never explaining the minds. Devilish grin for my alias, aliens who respond. Peddling sin, thinking maybe when you get old you realize I'm not gonna fold or demise. I don't smoke crack, motherfucker, I sell it.
What is going on, everybody? This is the Miscellaneous Minds podcast. I'm your co-host, Puma Gato, the cat that hands you your unified title back. And to my left over here is the main man, Jesus De Niro, the man that makes the fat stacks. Together we form the dynamic duo that won't die. Deadly ideas, brother, and spicier content than your girls' only fans. What is going on, everybody? Before we get into tonight's topic, please make sure to like, comment, hate, subscribe, DM us about the bullshit. And with that, let's get right into it. So, we have a unified 168 championship fight this Saturday. This is going to be our last review for the fight. We're going to watch the fight on the night, and then we're also going to do a review of it that night afterwards. Listen, I'll be honest with you. I said it before. I'll say it again. I think Canelo is going to be too much for Berlanga. Berlanga has a lot of great skills, but none of them have been tested at the absolute elite level, which Canelo is one of the absolute elite fighters currently. Listen, I think Berlanga definitely stands a chance to be a superstar in the future, and I think this fight is going to help him reach that because obviously his name is going to get a lot more attention, a lot more notoriety, and I think it's going to help him reach new levels. But with that being said, as far as the skill set, I think he's going to learn a lot from this fight and use those lessons taught to go on to bigger and better things. With that being said, he just doesn't have enough firepower for Canelo. Canelo has taken some of the biggest punches from some of the biggest punchers at 160, at 168, and so on. I mean, hell, he went up to 175, and, even though Bivol, threw absolutely everything at him, and don't get me wrong, Bivol definitely controlled the fight. The power at 175 wasn't even enough to take out Canelo. So to say that Canelo's got a great chin, and I would be very surprised if Berlanga had the firepower to knock that chin out. It's a big stretch to say that. That being said, listen, it's going to be a good fight. I definitely think that there's going to be some sparks, especially from Berlanga early on. I think Canelo's going to take the first 2 rounds as he usually does to analyze, pick up on the ways that Berlanga moves, pick up on the way that Berlanga does his footwork, on how he moves, not just around the ring, but how he moves with his punches, when he ducks, when he throws punches, how he throws punches, so on and so forth. I think he's going to analyze just like all the greats do, and I think after he analyzes Berlanga's game and he kind of deciphers what's going on, I think that's when he's gonna hit the gas. Canelo said that he's not going to have any mercy on Berlanga like he did to Jaime Munguia, and maybe that's true. Listen, I am one of the people saying that I do think that Canelo has been slowing down for maybe the last 2 years or so. So will there be a knockout? I think it's definitely a possibility. I don't know if there will be. I think Berlanga has been, at least thus far, been tough enough to avoid being knocked out, although he has been in questionable situations with much lesser fighters than Canelo. So it's going to be interesting. I do think Canelo's going to pull it off. I do think there's going to be a knockout. I usually predict that somewhere around the 7th, 8th, 9th round for Canelo. Canelo himself said the 8th, so, maybe it'll be in the 8th. I think it's going to be, maybe the 7th's a little early. I'm going to go 8 or 9. That being said, I think it's going to be a hell of a fight. Listen, apart from the Canelo and Berlanga fight, there's a lot of great fighters on this card. I think Canelo did a great job putting together a card with a lot of other great fighters. Caleb Plant's going to be on there as well. I'm a big fan of Caleb Plant, and so on. Listen, it's going to be a good card. I think it is going to be Canelo by TKO, if not Canelo by decision. I definitely think it's going to be a knockout at some point. I think he's going to hit the gas. If he's injury-free, if it's not, then Canelo will definitely get the decision. But it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see, how much hopefully Berlanga has upped his game, and it'll give us a glimpse into the future as well, because, hey, even though he might not be able to beat Canelo, maybe, a match with Jaime Munguia will be down the road. I think that would be a great match for both of them as well. It's going to be interesting, and it's going to be a great night, and we'll definitely be tuning in. But what do you think about that, my man?
Listen, man, the last thing that you really want to do is piss off Canelo. You've seen what Billy Joe Saunders did once he pissed Canelo off. He broke his orbital bone, and the fact that not only was he pissed off, not only did he piss off Canelo, but he also riled up Caleb Plant. And about now he basically said, "All right, this is both me and Caleb Plant's fight, but it's mostly a me fight." And yeah, the last thing you'd want to do is piss Canelo off. He's more of, again, he's kind of a knockout artist, but he's kind of more. I would at least consider Canelo to be more of a technical artist, personally, in my opinion, more so than a knockout artist, though knockouts have happened. But I do think Canelo does like to play the game a little bit more so than he does try to purposefully take out his opponent, but taking out the opponent is just part of the game for him. But I do think this seems to be an emotionally charged match with Canelo, kinda and not really, because if you when you look at Canelo's behavior, like going into this match, you see he's emotionally charged, but at the same time kind of unbothered. You can kind of see all the insults that Berlanga is throwing him, and he's kind of just throwing him by the wayside. You've seen him at that press conference, man. He was just waving his dick at him like, yeah, this is all me. Like you're not gonna get to me or any of this. And I even saw recently that Canelo, and this is just an aside, that Canelo was already talking about having a super fight with Conor McGregor. We're going to talk about that later on. But the fact that he's already looking past this fight, he's not even like talking about that fight all that much beyond just promoting the actual match itself. But the fact that he's already kind of thinking about Berlanga as an afterthought makes you think that he's not really emotionally bothered about this matchup whatsoever. If he's already talking about plans after the matchup and where he's going to do afterwards. And I think some other projects that he's got going on. The fact is, he might think Berlanga is a bit of an afterthought, which might put him in a little bit of a danger because Berlanga might pull out something that might be a bit surprising. But for the most part, how I personally see the fight going to go is I do think it's going to be a knockout. I think it'd be smart for Canelo to decrease the energy of a Berlanga by always going towards the gas tank, the torso, the stomach area. That way he cuts down all that energy, and I think it's gonna be to a point where the entire thing is just gonna fall down like a loose brick and like basically a whole tall stone tower. I think Berlanga's gonna tumble, but I think it's gonna be a TKO. I'm gonna say in the 10th round via gut punches.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be via gut punches. I mean, it's definitely a possibility. You know, Canelo has shown that he likes to go to the body with a lot of different fighters. I do think that I don't think Canelo's a knockout artist anymore. I think he went from being a knockout artist to being a counterpuncher. And don't get me wrong, he's great at it. You know, the thing where he does, where he leans up against Roast and he tells the other boxer to come at him. I think he's become a great counterpuncher. You know, I think that's really where his niche is now. Don't get me wrong, obviously he has the power to be a knockout puncher for his division, but listen, you know, they always say power is the last thing to go, and that's potentially true here with Canelo as well. But I will admit that I do think he has slowed down in the last few years. But listen, again, you know, Canelo is starting to get towards, you know, the middle of his 30s, generally speaking. That's started when you start becoming an older boxer. So we'll see, man. It'll be interesting. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not too interested in him fighting McGregor. You know, it's a show fight, you know. It's for money. It is what it is. But hopefully he's tuned in enough, which I do think he is. I think him being having his intensity up, but being calm, cool, and collected is just part of who he is. You know, Mayweather did the same thing. Oscar De La Hoya was the same way. These are all dudes that they never, you know, got super emotional when they went up against other boxers. Besides in the ring, they let it all out, and it definitely worked in their advantage. So we'll see. It's gonna be a great fight. We'll be watching that. We're actually gonna be watching two different things. We're gonna be watching the Canelo card, and we're actually gonna be watching the UFC card as well. Seeing the contrast between both of them, seeing, you know, how each one is do. We're gonna be talking about that as well. But it'll be an interesting night. And with that, make sure to like, comment, hate, subscribe, DM us about the bullshit, and
Until next time, get rest and stay blessed. We'll see you on the next one.